What do you mean scam? I did blonde hair. It's not a scam now that I have brown hair again, even though it's kind of dark, but you know, it'll wash out. I did my time. I did the crime, I did the time. Okay, if I hit 5,000 subs whenever, I'll buzz my head bald. I'll even wax it. I have some wax. I was looking at a lot of the comments from the recent videos, and a lot of people are like, you know, I don't know how to do the tech. All right. And that's what's discouraging me. So I was hoping we could, if you guys had questions, we'd go through stuff. But initially I wanted to go through underwater wall jump stuff. Or not underwater wall jump. But I wanted to go through the water logic with grapple stuff. Grapple jump stuff being pre-Oatsngoats room. Oh, I can go over that. Is that in logic? If it is, we'll go over it. Basically anything. Yeah, whatever's in hard logic or whatever people see. So the thing is, I know you might know D-Rock. They just changed some of the logic. Let me open it up. So I probably need to go over that. Let me... Coliseum, Crab Shaft, Halfy, Precious, Fish Tank. And this is with high jump, I assume. So this is new. So this. So is that new? I thought that was in logic though. Okay, so we're gonna go over this. I think that room before you get to Aqueduct. Oh, that, okay, with the crabs. I'm looking at Aussie's notes right now. And it says, hold down plus back when gravity jumping through a door, Coliseum, Crab Shaft, Halfy, Climb, Precious, and Fish Tank. That's what it says. I believe that this is with Speed Booster 2, though, right? So there's two instances, right? Like, so if you have Speed Booster, or maybe it's not, because if you have Speed Booster, it'll just expect you to Shine Spark through. So I don't think that's even worth mentioning, because you can do this without, but yeah. Okay, so one common thing that comes up in tutorials or in map randos. Oh, so that would be in logic. I also have a room that doesn't have enough tiles here to charge, so that would be. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go over this. So, there's a lot of instances that you'll come across in map randos to where you'll have a room like this, a dry room, with maybe high jump with no speed booster that goes into a wet room, like Fish Tank. And a lot of people don't know how to get up to the top, even though that this is in logic. So I want to show a couple instances of tricks. This is a very common thing, and I'm trying to think of if other people have recommendations of very, very common tricks that come up in map randos that people are going to see frequently that will help them if they join the tournament or if they just want to get into map randos. So basically you need, let me see, does anyone have the page? How many tiles? So I can be at least consistent here. But maybe it doesn't matter. What happened to the blonde? Oh, you know, it just went away. Okay, anyways, I'm not seeing where the tiles are, but this is something that'll come up a lot. So let's pretend that you're in a map rando and you have this exact instance to where this next room, you know, is Fish Tank. So what you're gonna do through these is you try to get last frame jumps to where instead of jumping like this through the door, you see how high Samus is. I mean, I bonked my head anyway, so it doesn't matter. What you need to do a lot of the times is make sure you're jumping the last frame. So that's a last frame jump. It doesn't always need to be last frame. It can be a little bit higher, depending on the runway that you have, essentially. So what you can do in this instance is if you have a runway, it's as easy as, if you get a close to last frame jump, is you can just hold through the door transition down and left. So I'm holding just down left. And I let go. And then that gets you up here. So a lot of people are confused on how this works. That's essentially as easy as it gets. A lot of this stuff was just added into hard mode as well, like a lot of variations of this exact thing. So let me show you a different variation. So room controls, room layouts. So this would be, what room is that? It's Sandy Meridia. All right, so this is another instance, same exact scenario. Let's see if it worked. Okay, it did. To where I'm going to hold down left. So if the next room is crab shaft, just like that. You don't even need to make it to this very top if you have high jump. So this is used a lot. So if you're confused on if this is in logic, do you have high jump? Do you have a little bit of a runway? If you only have this, it becomes a little bit more complicated if you have like 0 runway. Because a lot of times this just won't work. I mean, this might. Yeah, so this does, but if you have no runway, it gets a little bit trickier depending on the room. I think if I read correctly, it said something about 6 tiles in the adjacent room. So 6 tiles would be, does the door frame count as one? I'm not sure. So it'd be something like this. I don't know. Basically just for full run speed. But yeah. So this is going to come up a lot. All you have to remember is that in any of these cases, if you have a little bit of a runway, if you hold down left through the door transition, you don't need to hold it until you're moving through the transition. You will get through. Another thing that comes up a lot, let me show you. You still can't beat the game? What? So I'm going to go over some of the water things like this that you're going to see. A lot of the common things. So let's see here. So the next one I'll do is, what's another common one? Full halfy, probably. So is it just, oh yeah, lower. Okay, so here's another one that comes up. And this comes up a lot without high jump. I believe that this has been in logic. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in hard mode. So this next room is the halfy, the pre-halfy room. So this comes up a lot to where we have to jump to the middle door. And this will be unlocked generally. And then one thing that you can do is, I'm not going to go to that middle door and show you, but from the middle door, if you get a last frame jump, I don't know if this is in logic. You can actually get to the top just with a spin jump. So you keep spin jump, and then you can wall jump up to this one. But as long as I believe it's a last frame jump like this from this middle door, someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that this is in hard mode, this logic from the bottom all the way to the top, unless you have space jump, because space jump does something. Let me show you. Let's see.
And he goes for it.
Space jump does something interesting to where, let's get a last frame jump again through here. It allows you to basically jump on water. So it makes this a lot easier. Right, so There's a lot of instances where if you have space jump, you can escape bad water situations. Or it is just generally in logic, so keep that in mind with space jump. Okay. What's another water situation that we can go over from a right to left? Blondie? I'm not blonde no more. What? Who's Blondie? I think that's probably pretty good. I'm trying to think of other instances that always pop up, and this is really common. Oh, crab tunnel. Yeah, okay. We should go over that. Okay, crab tunnel. I can just keep space jump on, it doesn't matter. Now this is a little bit more tricky, and this one does require at least 6 tiles. Let me just be sure. Yeah, this is good. Okay, so this one's a little bit weird. I believe this one requires at least 6. Let me look at the logic page real quick. There's a couple different ways to do this, and I'll go over them both. But anyways, so this, I believe you need at least 4 to 6 tiles of runway for this. So if you see this instance come up, this one's a little bit tricky even for a lot of us. We're like, you know, like what is the proper thing to do here for this? So if I have a runway, I mean, I'll just do this regardless. But I'll show you a couple different ways to go about this. This should be fine, I think. I can probably save. Okay, so a couple different ways. So what we're gonna do on this is before we hit the ceiling, you press the opposite direction. So you're aiming down here, and then you're gonna press left. So this one's a little bit weird because of these crabs. So these crabs hit you for a lot, especially if you don't have Varia's suit. Basically, they just kill you. It's needed, because if you don't aim down, this happens. Aiming down is what does a lot of things in this game when it comes to like moving Samus's hitbox. So I'm trying to figure out yeah, okay. So this I think is in logic what I just did, which is kind of tricky. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that without taking the hit, if you have a runway, is in logic and hard. So basically I'm turning around right before I hit the ceiling, and then I'm morphing and then going to the right. Now, if you have the health to do this, I think you can do it this way. Yeah, I hate this. So you would turn around much sooner before you hit the ceiling, which I do not like this at all. In this method, you turn around basically right before Samus's head hits the ceiling, and then it does that. It puts you more to the right. So one thing that I like to do is that if I have the runway, because it's free. So basically right before, is it right before Samus's? Yeah, so right before Samus's head hits the ceiling, you morph and then hold right. Right? Or is it a little bit before, actually? Maybe it's harder than I thought it was. Is it tight? You don't have to hold run. I just am in the habit of holding run. So yeah, it's pretty much right before Samus's head hits the ceiling. is you press down and then right. So you almost want to like mock ball on the ceiling, I feel like. And then that. So I don't know if this method is in logic. This method is. Though, if you have the runway without high jump. I'm almost positive. So this is one of the harder things to do, is this room. Because you'll often have like a runway of 3, 4, 5 tiles, whatever. I probably never like those odd numbers, but and then it's kind of confusing to know whether or not. Half the time I don't even think about it. I go, is there anything up here that I want? And then I'll just force it. Because as long as you have, is it over 2 tiles? This works. I believe. This is gonna put me. Okay, yeah, we're fine. How's it going, Bastion? So yeah, I think as long as you have, this would be 2 tiles. I think you need like 2.5 or 3 tiles, so it would be 3 tiles to make it work because you need run speed for this. So this might not even work, actually. No, I don't think this works. It might be 4 tiles. Okay, so now that we're in this room, I'm gonna show you something else for water logic. This is very commonly used if we have high jump, is jumping on this crab. So you're gonna get the crab to 1 shot before it's frozen. So with Spazer, Wave, and Ice, it's 1 shot, and then the second shot freezes. We'll go over these because sometimes I even forget. With Ice and Wave without Spazer, it's 3 shots, and then the 4th freezes. And then I think this is 7 shots. And the 8th freezes, so. No, 6 shots, and then the 7th freezes. Okay, so that's important to remember those numbers. So with this, what you're gonna do is we're trying to get from this point right here to this, to that crab. So I am going to hit it once. I'm going to stand on this ledge. You kind of want to stand close to the edge because what we're going to do is we're going to... Oh, wait, what if you don't have moonwalk though? So this is what I do. So with moonwalk, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong here. This is in hard logic, I believe. But it's a flatly though. Do we need to flatly jump this? I don't know if a flatly would be. Flatly isn't very hard. Is this required, a flatly for this? Might be. Ugh.
My fucking tomatoes, dude.
You just... I don't know of that. Okay, so I'm gonna show this anyways because we're already in this room. So this is another common thing that if we have high jump and then you can freeze this thing, what you're gonna do is get into this position to where you're close to the edge. This is called a flatly jump. It's fairly easy to do, so don't be intimidated. All you do is when you don't have gravity, No, I have no idea what this is. I'm just making up flatly as I go, Dark. Is you are going to turn around, and shortly thereafter, you press jump. So what this does is it basically allows Samus to... It kind of looks like a wall jump, but Samus is falling off of the edge. And she lowers a little bit, goes to the left, and basically just gives more clearance for this. So I press left and I jump. You see how low Samus is there? You see it? Basically look at Samus's little feetsies. You see where she's jumping? You can get fairly low if you look at her feet. Yep, her feetsies. You're basically getting to the bottom of this tile, so that gives you more clearance. It's fairly easy. It's really lenient. Without... basically, if you have gravity here, it's tricky. You can do this out of water as well, but the lenience is really brutal. So that's what we do here. So we freeze, we get into position, we flatly jump, and then you just hold jump. You don't want to do a really low flatly jump. And you just hold jump, and you hold left against the crab. What this does is, for some reason, and that's too low, but for some reason, when you're pushing against an enemy, it will shift Samus upwards. Because if you're not pushing against, if you look, I'm not going to push against. You can't get up, you see? But if I hold left against the hitbox of the frozen crab, it basically, like, pushes Samus upwards. They need to patch it. Yeah, patch a flatly jump out. Yeah, Corey. Genius. So yes. This is very common, so I encourage you to practice it. It's very important to know this, because if you have high jump in ice and you don't want to do the crazy stuff I just went through, this is fairly easy to do. Another thing you can do is freeze. You can just freeze the crabs. Supers knock crabs off of walls, so you can use a super to, you know, get to that position to where you can do that. It's easier if you item cancel as well. So you see it's blinking, so I'm holding item cancel. Item deselect, and then I press twice for the supers. And then once I use it once, it just turns off, and then it goes right to my beam. So thanks for the prams up. So yeah, these are just some of the underwater movement things that you'll need to know. What was somebody asking earlier now? Was it Homunculus wanted to know something? Because I'm just going to go over some tech that people want to know. This underwater stuff is really common, and basically if you have stuff that comes up a lot, let me know. If you're like, hey, Oats, this comes up in my randos and I don't know how to do this. Because there's quite a bit. Yeah, the Shiny Spark stuff underwater, oh, God, I've been sucking at. Yeah, we're going over some hard tech. So this is a lot of the underwater stuff. That can be kind of tricky. One thing I can maybe go over is dwarf jump stuff. Past, yeah, let me go to the insane stuff here, Nito. Or the ignored tech. Yeah, we'll probably go over to the ignored portion. Sniped by Nito? Yeah, you just look like me and play like me. And then that's that. Okay, so one thing I'm going to go over is this. I'll go over the Shine Spark stuff after, but this is something that comes up a lot as well. And this really trips people up. It even trips us up sometimes because we don't see it all the time, but it still comes up enough to where it's like, it's going to affect newer players. Let's see, where am I at? Okay. So, you've come over here. You have X-ray. You don't have bombs.
Ranch.
And you have... Yeah, you'd have morph. Yeah, you need morph for this, obviously. Duh. Okay, so I'm gonna go over the logical way to do this. Oh, it's screw attack as well. Yeah. Or no. Yeah, and screw. Yeah. Items, screw attack. Okay, so let's pretend that you don't have bombs. You can't get this item, and you can see on the mini-map it's a major item. You really need this. Is it in logic? I don't know. Well, if you don't have explosives and you were given X-ray, it probably is with screw attack. If you have screw attack, X-ray, no explosives, morph, this is what the game wants you to do. It wants you to do a jump, right? Or no, can you just do this? No, you probably just do this. Yeah. I was showing the hard one. So it wants you to come in here and morph. And then it wants you to stand up like that. So what morph allows you to do, and this is how X-ray climbing works, is when you are in X-ray, if I'm facing left and I press right and let go of X-ray, Samus will stand up. Or if I'm facing right and I do the same thing the other way, Samus will stand up. So it's probably easier to do this. You probably hug the wall if you have X-ray. You press left and then let go of X-ray. So B in my case. And then what you're going to do is you're going to press right and jump. Right first, jump second. So this is something that comes up quite a bit, and it does stump some players. This is kind of a knowledge check, but I'm going to go over the X-ray stuff since we're here. So, one more time. I have X-ray, I have screw attack. I don't know what to do, but I know this is a major item. The game probably wants you to do this. You're going to stand up with X-ray. And like I said before, you're crouched, you X-ray, you press the opposite direction, you let go of X-ray. Almost at the same time, but you have to be turning around first. It has to be during Samus's turnaround animation. And then you're going to press right. And during that animation again, you jump. So it's like tap tap. Bam. And then you got your Varia suit or whatever it might be. So here's something that most of us do. So I'm going to show a little trick. This isn't in hard logic, but what I just showed with X-ray is. So let's pretend you don't have X-ray, but this is a major item. And maybe on the map you see a major item that you can get that's going to take you like 3 minutes. So you know that it's probably X-ray if you were given, let's say, screw attack. So we have screw attack, we don't have X-ray. I'm going to set that up so it doesn't get confusing. Equipment, items, off. So we don't have X-ray, but we have screw attack. This is a major item. What should we do? Well, in this case, you want some good run speed. You're going to try to set up a jump to where you let go, but you see how I'm like falling into this hole and I'm already stood up. So this is basically what X-ray does for you. So you can get fairly far if you do this right, to where you don't even need to do a couple turnaround things that I'll show you. So then that's one way to do it. So you basically mimic having X-ray by doing that. This is in very hard logic, I believe. So you can bypass the need for X-ray if you have screw attack. If you're not like super far and you can't quite get there, what you do is you're going to press right and jump, but before Samus lands, you press down again and you hold down. See that? So right before Samus lands, so you creep to the right. So you can do this all day. And you see how I just keep creeping? If I want to do it the other way, you can get yourself kind of unstuck. So you're spinning before Samus lands, press down. If you don't press down, this will happen. You'll be crouch locked. Sometimes you don't have morph in these cases, but that is how you do it. So if you need to creep more over, you know, you can do that. It's a fairly easy trick. I recommend if you're going to be doing races or whatever that you at least know how to do this kind of stuff. It's fairly easy. If you don't, okay, so Adam, I'm saying if you don't have morph, it's because of the morph tunnel in Green Hills. But I'm not going to go over that. Fuck that. Yes, so that's this. Now let's talk about a different situation. So, and this is with X-ray as well. So let's go to, okay, I'm going to set up a situation to where we have, what would we have? And this actually came up in a recent race. So screw attacks, not needed. High jump boots, sure. Even though there is some weird shenanigans with subpixels. I don't know that actually because I know of it, but I try to like avoid it. Sure. And X-ray. And we need ice. So ice is on. We'll have Spazer on as well. Sure, why not? Okay, Spike Suit is something I can show, but it's actually not in any logic whatsoever. Okay, so let's pretend that you're over here, right, in a randomizer. You have Ice Beam, you have X-Ray, and this is a major item. And there's really nothing else to do. This is basically, let's pretend this is a dead end and you have to like somehow wrap around the very top, right or left, but you can't get there. You just know that this is the item and you can't grab it. So what you do is these B-toms are used to clip. So you can do this without X-ray. Hopefully this is the frame, it's not. I'm gonna show it with X-rays first. X-ray first. So you want to freeze this feller fairly high to where you can still stand up. That's too high. Basically, you just want to get it to where you can stand up. This probably is fine. So in this instance, you're going to do the same thing that we already did to stand up with screw attack earlier, but you stand up to clip through these crumble blocks. So this is a fairly easy trick with X-ray. And this does come up. It's come up quite a few times. So freeze this feller high, stand up, crouch, turn around, and then jump. And then you can get this item. This is in hard mode. Now, sometimes, once again, we never need X-ray, right? And this is probably in very hard mode. Or, yeah, it's probably in very hard. This isn't in logic, but let's pretend that you know X-ray is around and you skipped it for whatever reason. You need to freeze this guy pixel perfect. That's a pixel too high, I think. That's too low. I hate this trick. There is actually some subpixel stuff that goes on with high jump, and I hate it. It might actually be bad right now, but you can freeze this guy, pixel perfect, like that. Okay. So I hate this trick, but I go for it if I have to. If I, you know, left X-ray behind or something. I just hate the setup for it. So that's like a pixel too high, I think. So it does work. That's probably too high still. And this is also, once again, if you skipped X-ray and you need this item up here. Try it without high jump. Okay. Without high jump, I actually stand on this ledge. The bottom. There you go, bam. Oh, that was actually too low, the other ones. So I do this. That's too low. It's a pixel too low. Pixel too low. You can actually see. Hold on, let me show you. So the pixel, you see this thing? You see that artifact in the wall? That sprite, that triangle. If you look at the BTOM, it's actually flush with this. So you see that? It basically just creates a shelf with that. It needs to be 1 pixel above that shelf. Above this triangle here. So this is if you don't have X-ray and you're just trying to, you know, be good. So that's still on the same shelf. It's not going to work. And it doesn't work with X-ray because it needs to be fairly high. That's still too low. That's too high. I'll just show you guys. Too high. Too low. That might actually be good. It might need to be 2 pixels actually above, because there's like a pixel above the shelf. This is probably still going to be... Okay, that's good. Okay, so this is the good position. Let me try to show you guys. Okay. So it's like 2 pixels, I believe. Basically in line with that. And what you do is you just get up to this. You wall jump, you can morph. And then you crouch and then you jump. And then you have to crouch off of the crumble block, or you have to jump off the crumble blocks. You don't have high jump, but yeah. And this is the same with high jump, isn't it? Or does it change? Yeah, it's the same with high jump, yeah. Okay, so that is that. Sorry. Let's go over one more thing that comes up, and this comes up the most. And Albert even said the other day, I won't be able to play because of this. You're goddamn right, Albert. You're not good enough, I told him. Where are we looking at here? So, this comes up the most. We have gravity. Let's pretend. And we're in this spot. Actually, I want to kill this stupid snail coming. Gary's coming. He's coming fast, too. He's on a mission. Okay, so I'll just do it from here. So this snail is going to allow us to do kind of what we've done earlier, except it's going to allow us to grab these 2 items. So in this case, let's pretend that we have just gravity. We don't have high jump, don't have speed. Because if you have speed and gravity, obviously you can just grab these items with speed booster, because you shine spark up from the bottom. So let's just use Gary. So let me reload this room so it's a little bit easier, and I'm going to show you my exact setup. So this gives me 3 opportunities to set this up. I face to the left, because if you face towards Gary the snail, Gary will stop moving. So what I'm looking for is for Gary to be pretty much, I think that's the exact position. Let's take a look. So, see this line?
My fucking tomatoes, dude.
It's almost flush. So this, I think this works. I could be wrong, but
jumps.
I thought that this worked. Let's just take a look before I. Okay, I'm surprised it doesn't work. That's my bad. So it's close to that. Hold on. Let me. So that would be too. That would be too low. So basically, we have 3 opportunities. So if that didn't work, which I'm surprised it didn't work, I guess I forgot my own visual cue. That's still too low. I'm gonna set it up with this. I'm gonna save here so you can see this line. So, and this is not in hard logic. This might be too low. Yeah. So, still too low, I think. But this is used. This is the most common. Okay, so this works. So let me show you here. So, yeah. This comes up all of the time, frequently. Yeah. So it's actually a little bit above. That's my bad. So it's basically, you see these two. So you see this line, and then you see these 3 dots here. It's basically Gary's. The top of the shiny part of Gary's snail will almost be touching this, kind of. It's almost like in between these 2 pixels. The line and then the 3 dots. Yeah, I dyed my hair. So the top of the shiny part underneath Gary's snail is kind of in between those things. So it's roughly what I'm looking for. So, yeah, just like that. And then what you do from this spot is you just press jump. Don't move. Don't do anything. Or else... Whoops. Gary, help. I'm stuck. Yeah. I did this in a rando the other day for the first time, and it made me lose real bad. You can't even... Can you get yourself unstuck? No, I don't think there's any way. No, I don't think there's any way to get unstuck from that. So basically, you just hold jump, hold jump, hold jump 3 times. Well, I just do this. It's just 1, 2, 3. You can spam it, but like you just don't spam it. You need to get to the top. I think that's what happened to me the other day. Is I messed up one of the jumps, and I didn't quite make it through, and then that happened or something. Yeah, you can just press and hold. Yeah. I'm gonna show it one more time. So this is basically just how I set up the room. Let me turn on not beams, X-ray beam. Okay, so this is without X-ray, generally. So I would, that wouldn't be good. So I would try to do that. And then I do it from there. So that's the first attempt. So you have 3 attempts with this, if you're doing it the way I am. Surprised I get this so frequently, like first try in the races. It's actually kind of crazy. So that's too low. So then I would bring it over here. And then I think that's good. Yep. So then bam. So if you have X-ray, and it's funny, I never do this with X-ray. Even if I have X-ray, I'm not doing this with X-ray. So this is in logic with X-ray. So you would do the same thing. Gary, the snail, needs to be a little bit higher. So you can clip in, get the turnaround. So that's too low, obviously. So basically, you want Gary to be as high as you possibly can. And then to where you can still on-morph. So, just like that. It's a lot more forgiving with X-Ray. So, yes. This, I think, is the most important thing to know because this comes up a lot. And it's also really important to know the setup without X-Ray because it's a very common trick that a lot of people know. So like if you're trying to race and you're just gonna go, oh, I'm just gonna play the exact logic. Sometimes speed booster is up here. So you just need to get it as quick as possible. And you don't have time to search for X-Ray if that's the logic, right? You cannot do it suitless. Let me show you something real quick with X-Ray and ice. So I'm just going over a lot of the water stuff I think is the most confusing in this. So it's probably best to go through all of this. Okay, so. Let's pretend that you have high jump, you have X-ray, and you have ice. I dyed my hair, I'm sorry. So we're gonna toggle X-ray. This is in logic, to where you come up here. I actually don't know how to set this stupid worm up. Isn't there a way to like make this guy always jump high? Basically, you freeze this thing at its highest point, and then it needs to be higher, unfortunately. That's not going to be high enough. Is there a way to manipulate this stupid worm? I'm pretty sure this is in, am I wrong? This is in hard logic, right? This with X-ray? Maybe not, actually, because this is such a piece of shit worm. Maybe not without gravity. Oh, that might be what does it here, so. Okay, this should work. Yeah. God. So it'll do a big hop, like an asshole. Yeah. It's in very hard? Okay. So this isn't very hard. This is good to know because this came up the other day for me, and I was pissed about it because I thought it was like not even possible, but it turns out it is possible. You consider X-ray climbing? Oh God, this one does suck. But let's pretend that you have high jump on, or not high jump, gravity. So with gravity, same situation. This, I'm positive, is in hard. Except, you know, then we get into this situation where the stupid worm doesn't want to. Yeah, this isn't hard. The most annoying part for me is this worm I actually don't know the position for this. I don't know if there's a way to manipulate this stupid worm to get a higher jump or what. Is this still too low? I was blonde for Christmas, yes. Okay, there we go. Yeah. That's still gonna be... Yeah, there's everyone there. I really don't care having blonde hair. I just wanted to dye it back. I just like the dark hair better. So yeah, that's that. Is there any other clips with X-Ray? Yeah, it was good. Because this is pretty important. This is what people ask for a lot, is this kind of tech, like the underwater stuff, the clips. No, I did my time, Chad. I did it. It looks freshly dyed hair. Looks like a toupee. It looks like I'm wearing a toupee right now. What about Billy May's water room? What? Billy May's water room? Okay, so let's work on a scenario here. What could I do? This is what comes up a lot. So let me do this. Where am I going for this? Probably Main Street would be my guess. Oh, you know what? This is also kind of important. This is stupid. We'll talk about that next. There's so much tech to go over that comes up frequently. Okay. Okay, so let's just, what's a dry door? I'm trying to think of like a recent instance of this. Maybe just some sort of save, I don't know. Oh, blue dot, where's the blue dot? Oh, sorry. All right, so some speed booster tech. Let's pretend that this is the room layout for your rando. You don't have gravity suit, but you have speed booster. And you know that the next room is Main Street, the water room, and that if you can shine spark, you can get a major item that's progression. So I actually hate this, and I needed to practice this before the tournament. But there's other ways to do this. Let's just pretend that it's this scenario to where you have a little bit more of a runway. Let me just show what it looks like. You can hug this platform, shine spark up, bam. Let's pretend you just got gravity. Whoopies. Fairly easy with a runway. Let's pretend that you only have this and not these platforms. There is tech to where you run forward, release forward, and press forward again right as the door transition is happening. I don't think this worked because it's not actually pressing forward. I always mess this trick up. So I think the secret is you need to be pressing forward before the transition, which you can clearly see that I wasn't, but this still might work. No. Because you need to get like a big stutter. This won't work. It would work if there was more. This will work. So if there's less distance, you can do that. I needed to practice this personally, but this is this little stutter thing in logic here? Man, I can't remember. You can't tap underwater, I don't think, no. That'd be cool if you could. Can you? No. I don't think any stutters in hard logic. However, this does come up a lot, and someone was asking about it. So, I need to probably... What if I... Yeah. So basically, you need to let go and then just press forward before the transition. But this, even though this almost works, you want it to look more of a stutter. I think this might work. Yeah, like that. So Samus kind of stops, and then you get that little bit of like a glitch almost. This is really useful. I hate this trick, but it's something that I need to practice before the tournament here. Because it's, if you don't know how to do this, you're getting cooked, kind of. Yeah, this isn't very hard difficulty. It's still good to know. Okay. So that's that. One other thing that comes up frequently. Let's go to... how can I set this up? Let's just go back to the ship. And then I'll show you. This comes up a lot. So let's pretend that you have this exact loadout without gravity, but you got speed booster, and there's major items in the aqueduct. Okay. This actually works. All you need is the door frame. So what I do is I basically just do a tiny stutter. So like that, and then I press run. Do you even need a stutter for this? This was recently changed. So I just do that. So as long as you're holding run, I believe, and forward before the door transition, you should get your shine spark here. This comes up a lot. There's a lot of pretending. What, I'm pretending? Huh? So this one you're going to see a lot. Another thing that you're going to see is there might be an item top left, or it might be progression. You need to shine spark and just come up to this door. One more thing I need to talk about too, because holy cow, it comes up a lot. And I saw Emmett doing this the hard way the other day, driving me nuts. Okay. Let's pretend, a lot of pretending, that you don't have high jump. You have nothing. Just nothing except morph ball. And you need to get up to this. This, you can't jump up here. It's a pain in the ass, and Gary's nowhere to be found, so you can't use him as a platform. How do you get up here? Well, if you know anything about Super Metroid, if you crouch and then press jump, you jump higher. As long as you're not holding an angle while you're crouching. No angles. You have to be just crouching and jumping. So, why don't we use that here? However, it's really difficult because Samus hits her head on this platform. Now, here's what you have to do. If you have Morph Ball, step by step, you jump and you hold left against this wall. Flush with it. Make sure you're up against it. You go into Morph and you tap ever so lightly the left button. Just tiny. You gotta actually press the button though. So like that. Just the tiniest press. Now I'm on the ledge by like a pixel. Now, I do the same thing and press right. the tiniest right press, you see? So now I face right. This puts me in the pixel perfect position to now just press jump and then right afterwards to get up to that ledge, or to get up to this door transition. So this, you need to know this. This is massive. This will save you minutes instead of like sitting here going, oh, where's the pixel? Oh, I can't see it. Oh, I keep hitting my head. So this is what it would look like if I was set it up quickly in a race. It's that easy. Yeah, I saw Emmett doing this manually the other day, and he was driving me nuts. You know, it's like, holy shit. Sometimes you actually have to do this without morph. I don't know if it's in hard mode. It shouldn't be. God, it's terrible. But you can see it works, but sometimes you're using other sprites. It's horrible. So this is the best method to always set this up. Is there any other underwater tech that we should go through? What's up, Eddie? Could probably do a race or two. Oh, it's the same thing for this too. Since we're here, I'll show you. I mean, same thing for all this, really. So for this, if you really want. That's not gonna work. So for up here, this is really important for this setup as well. So we need to get to this ledge up there. Let's pretend that you have Ice Beam, and this is in logic, so let me show you. Just like this. And let's pretend that we came from this right door. So I'm coming over here, crouch jump up to this. So what I'm gonna do from here is jump to the right, set up flush, and then do the morph setup. And then that gets me to this ledge with a down grab. This is in hard mode now, I believe, because of this morph setup. So you kind of have to know this. And then from here, you would free the Metroid, and then you would use this Metroid to clip. I already broke the crumble blocks, but yeah, I'll show you what it looks like to clip on the other side. Because sometimes you need to do it from this side, so you still need to get up to this ledge regardless. So, bam. And this clip is basically, I just hold L and R, I freeze, and then I jump and press down. And then that puts you into the position for it, so. All right. Does that cover most of the underwater stuff? For hard mode, for the most part. The ice clips aren't precise at all. This ice clip is free. So let me show you. You would help. Okay. So with this, all I do is freeze the thing when I am crouching and holding L and R. So L and R, when you're crouching, makes it to where you don't stand up. If you try to aim up when you're crouching, you stand up. But if you're crouching, you press L and R, Samus just shoots up. So that's the position. So here, crouch, and then I basically I just keep holding L and R, and then I just hold down and jump. And then you're in the position, pretty much. Right, that should have worked, I think, so. Yeah, you have to stand up, so stand up, press up. Yeah. I got really good at this for low percent ice. Yeah. Yeah, it's that easy. Teach us how to win a rando? I don't know if I can, to be honest. All right. I think that covers quite a bit of the hard mode tech for underwater stuff. It doesn't cover everything. And when we're racing, I'm not thinking, is this in hard mode? The only time I'm thinking that is if I need to know for the logical chain. Oh, I can talk about that real quick. Yeah, hold on. But other than that, I'm just thinking about what I can do at any given time to progress. So I'll show this situation that might arise here. I wanted to go to beams for grapple beam. You guys have fucked me. Just this, I think. Fine. So let's pretend that you came from this bottom door via like a grapple jump or not a grapple jump, a gravity jump or whatever. And you have grapple and you need to get to the top left or the top middle. These guys are in the middle of these platforms. And what we do a lot of the time, let me turn off high jump so it's a little more obvious what I'm doing, is grapple jumps. So what happens if you let go of grapple when you have upwards momentum is you can morph, on-morph, and then press jump to gain height, like that. So what happens if we do that a lot? Well, look something like this. So you just morph, press jump, morph, press jump, morph, press jump. The way I do this is I spam jump pretty much. You don't have to. You can do it, you know, cleanly. But it's a little bit trickier without high jump. With high jump, it's free because you have more of a lenience. Without high jump, I kind of just spam just to make sure I'm getting my jump out. Or else that can happen. So as long as you morph, you can just spam jump. Make sure you're morphing. So let's pretend... Okay, well, no, it doesn't even matter. Whoops, I'm not going to go back to that. But if you have spring ball, you just have to on-morph with up. It's just that easy. AKA, it's hard, but it's... Yeah. Because spring ball, you can't on-morph. With jump, once you get spring ball. It's actually kind of annoying in 100%, but you get used to it. All right, so I'll probably go over more tech. I just wanted to go over some of the common underwater tech that I think is the most tricky for people in hard mode. And a lot of people, I think, get discouraged because they don't know like progression or anything. So, yeah, hopefully that helps some people.